politics making a difference. You go from Condoleezza Rice, from Elijah Ransom Kuti, to even Joyce Banda, and even Ellen Sirleaf Johnson of Liberia. Women in politics have become an agenda that has been most thriving in every Nigerian mind, especially that of the women. Gender Agenda is a women empowerment political talk show that seeks to address the state of nationhood, governance and policy making for the Nigerian woman. It seeks to look at the ambiguity in gender affiliation, especially with political parties, and the representation of the Nigerian woman for and in politics. Gender Agenda, Women Arise, exclusively on AIT. My name is Adora, and this is Gender Agenda.
Well, with more than a dozen years of democracy in Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria, well, political participation by women in the male-dominated sphere is still the problem. But the question here is it about numbers, or is it about the policies, or is it about representation by the women who have spoken their mind and saying that they will represent the Nigerian woman? Well, today I will be talking to a woman who is well-respected, virtuous, very strong woman with very strong values. She was elected for the first time in 2003 in the members of the House of Rep, and then re-elected again in 2007. Now, I know that you might remember the name Mother of the Tubes. I don't know if you go back, to the times of Newsline and talking about the miracle baby, Little Mary. And I'm not talking about anybody else but Honorable Abike Dabiri. She is here with me, and she's joining me on today's Gender Agenda. You're welcome, madam.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you.
Thank you. Great to see you.
So, how has it been so far?
Very challenging. If anybody tells you it's easy, it is not easy. But nothing is easy, really. So it's been very challenging. It's been a lot of work. But I give God the glory. What matters is wherever you find yourself, you want to put in your best and ensure you succeed and leave something behind. Can you get it all? No. But put in your best, believe in what you're doing, be sincere in what you're doing, and have the fear of God in all you do.
Indeed. I remember you chaired the Chamberlain House Committee on Media and Publicity, and now you are chairing the Diaspora Committee as well. Now, from media to diaspora, how has that been? What a change of circles.
Well, it's just a job. It's your responsibility. It could have been any committee. But what is interesting about both committees is that media was a new committee in Parliament, so I was the first to chair it, and I had to set an agenda. Diaspora was the first time we were having that in Parliament, and I had to set an agenda. So I did what, I learned at the NTA, that you work with everybody. You never know who can give you the best ideas. Sometimes the best ideas will come from the driver, the cleaner, the cameraman. So in this instance, we all went out there, talked to a lot of people, and we're able to set an agenda both for the media committee and the diaspora committee. So for me, it's just a job, another responsibility, and just put in a lot of hard work.
When a lot of people remember you, they remember Mother Teresa of the Tubes, especially when talking about bills in the National Assembly. And you resonate a lot of emotions from people from different categories of people in the society. First, Freedom of Information Bill, and then the Bill to Enact, of course, talking about integrating disabled people and giving them a chance to equal participation. And then the Child's Bill as well,
yes,
that sought to make sure that every child from 5 years old had adequate health, basic care. But let's look at women participation in politics. If you look at from the year 2003 down to 2008, at least 3.1%, that's about 2003, now to 2008, you would find that in 109 members of the Senate, only 9 women are senators. And you look at the national, the House of Representatives, you find I think 26 women are members of the House of Representatives. Now the question is it a matter of numbers, or is it a matter of, is it a matter of participation and making sure that the presence of the women are felt in government?
Well, first, it's a matter of numbers in a parliament. I mean, it's about your votes carrying the day. So numbers do matter in Parliament, But having said that, yes, 26 women out of 360, very small. But you know my worry, it just might be getting worse in 2015. The problem is probably not going to be increasing. It's getting tougher for women. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's getting tougher for women. It's getting more difficult. It's getting more challenging, and it's getting more violent. So really, we should stop paying lip service to the issue of women in governance, because really, at the end of the day, the society is better for it. Where you have, I'm not talking of majority. And then when we say equality, I don't believe in equality. I believe in equity. I don't want equality. I'm not equal to him, and I'm not a man. And I don't want to be a man, but I want equity. Don't say to me that you cannot be ABCD because you're a woman. Then you're touching on the sensibility of my being. So you hear things that, oh, you're very good, but you know what, we're not ready for a governor. We don't want a woman. You know, that is what actually demoralizes you. But having said that, wherever you find yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, what difference are you making? And for every woman, wherever you find yourself, how many women are you lifting up?
This is Gender Agenda. All right, now from 2003, where we had 2 deputy governors female, now we have 6, in number. If you look at the time where Sarah Jibril contested for the presidential ticket, and that was in 2011, amongst 2 men, a lot of people thought it was foolhardy at that time. Now you're even saying that was even the bravest of them all, because it's going to get tougher. Do you think it's a problem of women believing in women, or the men giving the women a chance?
Both. And if you sit down there and expect the men to give you a chance, then you're going to get nothing. Like, if I want to take a man's position, or say somebody is a member of maybe a senator, and you want to take his position, you're a woman, you expect him to leave that position for you. It's not going to happen. So men are not going to vacate their seats, and we're not asking men to vacate their seats. What we're saying is that let the women, first of all, come out and be identified. Believe in what you... When people ask me, how did you do it? I got up and decided that I wanted to contest elections. I came back from Harvard University. I'd gone for a leadership course, and it was like a leadership challenge was thrown at me. And I had people telling me, oh, you can contest elections. I said, no way, not for me. But somehow when God listens to you, speaks to you, you should be quiet enough to listen. Somehow one thing led to another. I went to my constituency, started asking questions, started attending ward meetings, party meetings, and I did that for about 4 or 5 months before taking a decision. So I got to know what it entailed, and I saw people yearning for leadership, especially women, So when I took that decision, I went to the leader of the party, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and said, I wanted to contest, and he said, well, who is there? And the person there had to come to another party anyway. And it's like, he encouraged me and said, we need women like you in politics. But it was very tough in my constituency.
Encouraging constituency?
Yes, the leaders, those who, are leaders in that political party. It's like, oh, where she's coming from, does she think this is television? So if she's Mother Teresa of the two, big deal, But I never gave up. Like I said, I had done that for 6 months. I was attending world meetings, party meetings. I got in tune with the crowd, especially the women. Had regular activities with them. So I was at one. We're at one with one another, and I'd created some kind of bond before I took that decision. I didn't just get up and said, yes, I'm Abike Dabiri, I'm contesting. So I went to the grassroots. I worked with them. I sat with them. We held meetings. I even had an award for the most consistent elderly woman. Okay. So you had elder women attending. So we had an award for the most consistent elder, things like that, before I went to the party. I said, I want to contest. So I'd known what I was going into. And then the Asiwaju, convinced all the other leaders, like, support a woman like this. We need somebody like her joining us here. And to God be the glory, I give God the glory. So really get up. Now, I could have lost. I didn't know whether I was going to win. I had a job. I had a very good job in terms of, I had visibility. It was a glamorous job, But I gave it all up. I actually retired.
Voluntarily?
Yes. To go to something that I wasn't sure I was going to win. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. I remember one small boy kept begging me not to do it. That politics is bad. It doesn't, please, I don't want you, please. And you must get up and believe in yourself. Do what you have to do. Don't be afraid, but then let your goals be realistic. I didn't get up to say I want to be governor. I did my research and saw that, okay, I'll give this a shot here. So as women, we should have the courage to stand up and take a decision. We might fall, but we'll rise again. Don't be afraid to fall.
Indeed. Indeed. Now, I'm going to take an excerpt from what was posted on the president's Facebook wall, I think a year ago, and he made emphasis on it without being critical. He said, "I promised women a 35% slot in my cabinet, and I fulfilled that vow, because it is my desire to ensure a level playing field in Nigeria by heading an administration where ethnicity, gender, and religion does not hinder qualified persons from fulfilling their potential." In furtherance to that, he said, "It is also the reason I ordered the admission of women to the Nigerian Defense Academy, the NDA, a first in Nigeria. A woman should brace up and be all that she wants to be in life, and this administration will also enable that progress to happen." Do you think so far the environment, the political space, the political parties, and even the chairman has encouraged a lot of this that is coming from the president?
Well, it's easy to appoint anybody, but it's more difficult to seek for an elective position. That is actually where the challenge is. And then when you're appointed, really, like I said, what are you doing with that position? How many women have you lifted up? Yeah, it's a good statement by the president. Good statement. But, well, I guess the good beginning, but I don't even believe in numbers. I don't believe in 30%, 35%, whatever. Even by saying so, we're limiting ourselves. You see, if somebody is good, employ him or her. But don't say because, that's why I say I want equity, not equality. So if 100 women are good, so be it. Qualify for what you're seeking for. Go with confidence and courage. Let's forget about tokenism and trying to be timid. I'm a woman, No. So those are things we need to, and then there should be a mentoring platform for, women who are maybe done some certain things well, for younger girls coming up, which I do, but it's not structured. So I try to mentor as many girls as I can. A word of advice, a word of support, a word of hope, goes a long way. So I do that from time to time. I'm trying to make it more structured as time goes on.
This is Gender Agenda. Now, I know about Patricia Lumiete, first female speaker for the House of Rep. I think, a lot of women were very happy about that. They were very joyful. But now let's look at the role of voices. A lot of women want to be, noticed. They want to be heard. But are they speaking loud enough? Are they coming out in their numbers to say, this is what we want? Or are they speaking behind corners?
Yeah, but you see, what I'm saying, look, you mentioned Mrs. Ete, who was the first female speaker. I was one of those who opposed her. When it was time to remove her as speaker, I was for the side of removing her as speaker because of the circumstances of that time. Let's be realistic with ourselves. You expect to now say, oh, because you're a woman. You said to us, I don't need you. You're opposition. You have no value. Today's speaker, Tambuwal, it's difficult to remove him because he works with everybody. He got there with support of opposition. He didn't say, oh, I'm in this party or that party. So again, let's all be wise in, some of the things we do and consult and never take anybody for granted.
Now, talking about another side of the story and looking at this particular family, and you're coming from the media to the national parliament. Yes, they first remember you as the face of NTA before they even, put you on the national. And
I thank God for that. NTA really did. I mean, NTA shaped me, the job I did, and the NTA taught you that once you are given a position, don't think of the rewards. There's no bit that you can't do well on. So that actually prepared me, and so I'll never forget NTA. And you kept talking about the miracle baby.
Yes.
Again, I mean, she's still in my life today.
Wow.
She's been on my scholarship. As I speak with you, she's about to get into a university. So I just want to see her graduate, grow, hopefully get married and have her babies, before we tell her story again. We just want to see her very, very so smart, sharp. I guess she likes to talk, but she's doing okay. Wow. She's just one of many children that I sent to school.
Yes, it's so
Because
many
I
of them.
believe that without education, I mean, at least some form of basic education, and you shouldn't be denied that because of the circumstances of your birth. So the more children you can help, to send to school, I believe the better for the society.
Now, the media is said to be, the voice box for the rest of the society.
Yes.
Now, do you think the media has played its share role, in making sure that the voices of women have been heard, especially with participation in politics?
Not enough for women. I keep accusing them anytime I see them. Not enough for women, but at the same time, you see, they're not going to come look for us. We have to go look for them. You have a story to tell. Go out there and say, and let them know you have a story to tell. And it's an interesting story. So, looking for half a page, 1 page, feminine corner and all that, get up and be ready to tell your story.
This is Gender Agenda. We're looking at Africa as a whole, because we're looking at representation of women across Africa, maybe Nigeria, one of them. And we are very close ties, when you talk about Zimbabwe and Nigeria. A lot of us live in Zimbabwe and also here, maybe in different parts of the country. But if you look at, because you said something clear earlier, you talked about violence. A lot of women might not want to get into the political space because of the violence and, of course, all the antiques of politics. How can that also, be something to look at and something to change?
Mentoring. More women, we should be talking to one another. The women then now should do more. And these are platforms that can be created by NGOs and all that. So really mentoring. By the time, some of these things you've talked about are just meant to scare you. They are really not that existent. They are meant to scare you, So a bit of education, But the thing is, it has to be the fact that you have it in you. And believe that it's something you want to do. Don't do it because A is doing it. Do it because it is what you want to do. But what I'm saying is, don't let us limit ourselves. The only thing limiting us will be ourselves. So if you believe that you want to be a lawyer, go ahead and do it. You want to be a journalist, go ahead and put in your best. And change will come not just from being in politics. Wherever you find yourself, just put in your best. That is my policy. That is my philosophy. And that is my guiding principle. And success is not about age. It's not about character. It's not about how much money you have, but how many lives you're able to touch. So know who you are. Believe in yourself. Discover yourself. And then go for the real you.
Okay, now I know that Rabi, who's the coordinator of RAPA, said something. She said political marginalization of women in Nigeria, has to be broad spectrum.
Yes.
And that is looking at both culture, tradition, and religion. Do you think that plays a key role in some of the
Absolutely, it does. Like in some parts in the East, they will tell you that as a woman you cannot break kola nut. So you cannot be take a position like being the governor of the state. So even in the Southwest, while we're a bit more liberal, they might not say that openly, but it's like they still tell you to your face, you know what, you're so good, but you are a woman. It will take time, but it's not something we should get angry about. It's something we should be persistent about. It's something we should be persuasive about, and it's something that we should work for, even if not for today, for tomorrow. Sometimes when we used to say women are less corrupt, but when you say that now, Nigeria, they go like that, because of 1 or 2 examples, which is not fair, and which is wrong. 1 woman out of 20, and I go, I said that at the forum, the whole way. So, so you just want to ensure that you remain a woman with a whole lot of dignity, and with your head high, and with a whole lot of sense of integrity in all you do.
Now, talking about education, looking at state assemblies, we barely have women at the state assemblies. I think 54 in all the numbers. Now, if you look at education and rural participation of women in election, it's still a major issue. Do you think that a lot of this education should start from the rural?
Absolutely. The way we even raise our children, you find that in homes where girls are raised as, you know what, go out there and be who you want to be. They never have this problem. But when so from the homes, then to the community, on how you raise your children, it actually starts from the home. So that is very, very important. And then we need to educate the girl child. There are still many areas in Nigeria today where, as a girl, they don't even want you to go to school at all. You'll be surprised at how prevalent it still is in some parts of Nigeria. So that we need to work on and ensure that every girl child has a right to education. Every girl child deserves to go to school, and we should make it a priority.
Now, if you look at the rural area and you also look at institutions as well, like schools. Now, I remember somebody I was talking to a younger female, and she was in the university at that time, and she said she had a very good experience running, trying to be the student union president because it was a male-dominated, environment, and she said she didn't even get one support from the male. When the idea came, a lot of people were, yes, you'll be the first female who would vote for you.
And when it was time,
a lot of passion. But when it was time,
she's not nobody.
She's not nobody, And that is just in our institutions. Do you think also political education should also be part of the institution?
Even at that might probably not have to do with because she's a woman. That has to do with our society. I'm sure a lot of men have gone through that experience too. They're going to come to you and say, you know what, Excellency, you are the best, you have our support, to go for this. But when you look back, you don't see any one of them. So you, like I said, be realistic. Your goals and dreams and ambitions. So I don't think that has to do with being a woman. I think it has to do with who we are as a people. They probably deceived some other men also contesting in the same situation. So it has to do with us as a people. That's what I think. But for that, in that particular gap, she wasn't too disappointed not to try again. She could have lost it at that time, but she should not have been so disappointed not to give it a shot again. Look at the mistakes you made. Look at what worked against you, and then give it a shot again at another situation. So that's whoever she is. I hope she never give up.
Well, I hope she's watching as well, because I think she would need to watch this. Because she felt, it was stereotypical.
Yes.
Coming from the environment. She was studying law at the time. Now let's just move aside from that a bit. Do you think that the family also plays a major role?
Oh, absolutely.
In, supporting their
absolutely,
female?
Absolutely. In fact, without the support of your family, you have about 50% of the problem. With the support of your family, you've solved half of your problem. You need your family's support. That's your fulcrum of support. Like in politics, if my husband doesn't want me to be in politics, it's going to be very difficult for me. But just if you have a husband, children, family that believes in you and allows you to be, then half of your problem is solved. It takes a lot of burden off your head.
I think also the growing number of female gender in Nigeria have also seemingly this is cliche. I don't know if you've heard about it, especially through social media. You see people put it up and talk about it and discuss in groups. And it's come up that a lot of women think that African men, or maybe even Nigerian men, let's use Nigeria for instance, are threatened by successful women.
Yeah.
And you hear that a lot. And some women become angry and frustrated because they feel that they've been burdened down from achieving their dreams because they are just like the term you put, married to a man. Do you think that resonates? Do you think that is...
Well, it does happen, but every man and woman for himself. Yes, of course, you have men that are threatened by your position or whatever, and that is why you must have a man who doesn't have an inferiority complex. It's because of inferiority complex that will happen, and you have to decide as a woman what makes you happy. Where's your happiness? If it's with the man, then you want to do what he wants. So first thing is to have a man who believes in you, who doesn't have a complex and all that. So actually you cannot generalize. The situation varies from one person to the other. But what matters is how you tackle your own situation.
Do you think that we have hope for the female gender in Nigeria, especially with getting to that, I call it the promised land, where equity matters and the numbers that come out to represent the women are the numbers that really count?
Well, as long as there's life, there is hope. But really it's getting tougher for women in politics in Nigeria. But we must not be discouraged. We must come together and work with one another, and let our voices be heard. Let our voices be heard. And then let us be examples ourselves and good role models. So if the women that are there today, do their job well and they're appreciated, you will encourage other young women to do what you're doing.
This is Gender Agenda.
Life's not any easier. But we have to stand up and, you know, do what we have to do. And we'll do it with persuasion, with encouragement, with lobbying, with appealing to them. You know, I mean, if you want to go into politics now, you know, it will be challenging for you, but I think you will succeed because you have a track record. You must be competent in whatever it is you're doing now and you want to do in future. There's no alternative to hard work.
Now, there's a part of your name I really like that you don't use often. I think maybe at very formal functions, Kafayat, Dabiri. I love that part of you. In fact, when I first heard you, I think I was still in school then in London. I think 2003, 2004. And I heard about you, I read about you, you know, and I said, oh, this Wonder Woman. I'm like, let me see. I was like, are you sure she's Nigerian? Dabiri. I kept looking for the minute until, you know, we sort of went through your biography and saw the Kafayat.
Oluwatoyin. I don't use, but you can only use one name. And you know, in those days when you were born, even Abike was not a name people were usually called.
Yes.
You know, and I say I'm one of the earliest to bear my Oriki, as they say. But you know, you can only bear one name. And then I went to Catholic schools, primary, secondary, so the Abike just stuck. Wow. But I do use my Kafayat. It was just, I don't like people calling me Kafaya. Call me Kafayat. Kafiyat.
Is that Nigerian?
It's one of my Muslim name.
Okay.
I'm a Muslim. That's my Muslim name. Kafayat or Kafiyat. The Saudis say Kafiyat. But you know, our Yoruba people, they say Kafaya. So that kind of... So it's a lovely name. I do use it, but I can only use one name. So...
Okay, now it will interest you that the meaning of Dabiri in Igbo means lean on me. And,
oh, really?
Yes. And
in Bayelsa, I'm sure.
It means father's side in Ijo. It means the father's side in Ijo. So you have very leading names, very, very deep names. And I think like they say, the name of a person or the name that a person bears has a lot to do with them. But that's the traditional part. But it's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. But my maiden name is Erogbogbo. I'm sure that is more interested. Erogbogbo.
Erogbogbo. Okay.
So it's not Erogbogbo.
Wow.
You know, and it started with my great grandfather's nickname. All thoughts on money. Erogbogbo Lori.
All thoughts on money.
All thoughts on money. So that the man liked money a lot, and every time I was thinking, it became like a nickname. Yeah, but I believe in names, and that's why you don't call your children any name, all the slangs. No, my children are the names you give them, because names have meaning. So
Indeed.
you call yourself your children
Indeed.
some names that are not. So my parents ensured that, you know, and when they call you Abike, you know, it means born to be cared for.
Yeah.
So I believe I'm born. Exactly. So I believe I'm born to be cared for and tended to, and all that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I wish you all the very best. And I want to see you in politics. Promise. Promise.
Fingers crossed. Well, we've been talking to Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, and it's been fantastic. Well, she said something really clear to women out there. It's getting tougher. Don't think you're going to rest on your oars and someone will call you and give you a ticket or elect. You have to work the work. And trust me, if you work the work, all of your efforts will surely count. This is Gender Agenda. See you again next week.